Hello, Howell family. This is Prince Kerr, the voice of HC. I hope you're all doing great. If you're watching this or hearing this on YouTube, please help the channel's growth by liking the video and commenting peace and prosperity. It will be much appreciated. In today's conversation, I wanted to discuss the 3 reasons on why you should never assume before our video this week. So let's talk about it. Before we can break down the reasons we should not assume, it's important to understand what it means to assume and the ramifications or consequences of assumptions. Simply put, to assume is to take something for granted or to believe something to be because of internal biases and not based on information of the actual said thing. To assume is, for example, believing someone is a certain way or holds the same morals, values, and principles as yourself because you like them. This is giving them credit based on the best of what you believe you are, without them actually having to prove that they went through the life experiences necessary to create those very attributes. Here are the 3 reasons that you should avoid making assumptions. First, because you are free to assume, but you are not free from the consequences of those assumptions. This simply means to acknowledge that if you are wrong with your assumptions, you may still have to face the consequences of the course of action that was taken based on those assumptions. As the saying goes, when you assume, you are making an ass out of you and me. This is because instead of actually listening to understand a situation, reading to learn about a situation, or watching to appreciate and digest the reality of a situation, you are adhering to a preconceived notion of what actually is, and thus judging it according to what it is not by default. The consequences of your assumptions could be banal, but they could also be grandiose. Always remember that your assumptions can usually be hardened into your beliefs that can in turn shape your reality. As a result, you could jointly be creating an unfavorable world around you because you are avoiding facing the truth of what actually is. This means you may be complaining about something that you don't like, yet you are also creating it, thus having you exist in a perpetual cycle of discontentment and victimhood. Second, it can demean your credibility. Another important reason you should not assume is because by choosing to assume, you are choosing to make unfounded decisions, which can in turn take hits at your credibility. Consider what it means to actually assume something about a person. Doing this is similar to putting on rose-colored glasses and living under the presumption that everything is rosy. It is important to accept that not because your glasses may give you the impression that the sky is rosy, that the sky is not actually blue. Swearing by the sky being rose-colored will just make you look ridiculous to people that can actually see the sky. In this scenario, it may be much more beneficial to consider the actuality of things before swearing by your claims. Finally, not assuming will help to create better relationships with the people that you love. When you assume, you are denying a person or situation of the opportunity to express themselves and show you who they really are, which will in turn affect your relationship with that person or situation. When we assume that someone is a certain way, we are placing expectations on who they should or can be to us in our lives. By doing this, it makes it very hard for them to express themselves as who they actually are, rather than who you see them as or who you want them to be. Doing this can only lead to frustration in your relationships and disappointments down the line, because it is the equivalent of putting a block over their freedom of expression. This can result in you never really getting to know and appreciate the people around you to the depth that you would like and actually desire to. Assuming gives off the impression that you are judgmental because it encourages the idea that you cannot accept people for who they actually are. Avoiding making assumptions will help create better relationships with the people you love, and this is because it is giving yourself the opportunity to actually know people for who they are and appreciate them for what they're actually showing you, rather than what you think they should be showing you. Avoid assuming and appreciate the possibility of difference in your relationships. Now, although these are 3 valid reasons to never assume, it is important to still consider that there may be instances where you will need to assume, or it would be right to assume. When you feel a vibe or energy that makes you uncomfortable, or you have an instinct telling you something that you can't really quantify or put a word on, it is always best to trust your gut, because your gut never intends to steer you wrong. Let's have a conversation about assumptions in the comment section. Are you guilty of assuming things about people or situations? What was the result of those assumptions? Were they good? Were they bad? If you want to hear more of my thoughts and enjoy these types of videos, leave a comment in the comment section. I'll see you on the next episode of Conversations on Howell Consultations, the how-to being true to you.